Because you used to be an atheist, you feel that you totally understand us guys. But do you even know what an atheist is? Just to make sure, I'm going to clarify it for you. It's somebody who doesn't believe in a god or gods. And that's it. Being an atheist doesn't stop you from believing in the supernatural. There are people who don't believe in gods, but believe in ghosts and astrology and all kinds of other bunkum. So, understanding whether or not somebody believes in something is fairly straightforward. Do you believe in the Easter Bunny? Yes, no, not sure. And actually, all rational people are in the not sure category by varying degrees, but that's another discussion. I'd count myself as being certain beyond a reasonable doubt that there is no God, based on the lack of evidence. But you said totally understand, so do you mean totally understand what atheism is, or totally understand atheists? Because that latter statement is a pretty grand statement of empathy and knowledge, given that atheists come in all shapes and sizes. There are Italian and Australian and Mexican atheists. There are atheists across the whole political spectrum. There are vegetarian atheists, committed carnivore atheists, vegan and fruitarian atheists. And as I've discovered in the past couple of weeks, there are even atheists who like spam. And even though I'm an atheist myself, I don't understand that. I have to assume that you mean the latter, because your description of atheism as being fun makes no sense. It's fun only in the sense that not banging your head really hard on the stone floor is fun. I'd say it's less fun, and it's more the rational choice of two options. So you say that your girlfriend is the one who convinced you to become a believer again. Have you read your Bible and what it has to say about women? Because, according to that nasty little storybook, the first time that a man listened to what a woman had to say is what got us into this mess. So you need to try and be consistent. I am, however, very intrigued by this proof of God's existence that your girlfriend provided. And what was that exactly? Was it that it would take a miracle before she'd let you cop a feel and you become a Christian and what do you know? Or something else? And leaving aside other incentives for the time being, your conversion back sounds awfully like someone submitting to peer pressure. A mindless compliance so that you can just go unquestioningly along with the crowd, thereby placing total trust outside your own locus of responsibility. That's never a good thing. It's a principle that religion is based on, and that's why religion is never a good thing. So come on, what was all of this proof? If you actually have proof, then you have the opportunity to save all of mankind. If you keep this to yourself, then you are condemning every single human being alive on the planet today to eternal hell, which would make you the most evil creature in the whole of eternity, even nastier than your God. You have a duty to tell us, to show us this proof. During your conversion, you say that you were dying to prove that God doesn't exist, but that you couldn't prove it. Well, welcome to the club. You can't prove the non-existence of God any more than you can prove the non-existence of unicorns, or the Martian teapot, or the flying spaghetti monster. Using the inability to prove non-existence of something as actual proof for its existence makes no sense at all. What you're really saying is, I want to believe in invisible unicorns, and until you can prove that they don't exist, I'm going to continue believing, because that's what I want to be true. It's not a position that's all that firmly anchored in reality. Anyway, on to the question. What if someone proved to me that God exists, and that this Creator wants to be worshipped, and that if I worship this Creator, it'll be better for me? Would I submit? I don't really know for sure, because that's a very difficult question to answer, and as much as I like to think of myself as being a principled human being, threat of torture is a powerful motivator when it comes to getting people to comply. Throughout human history, criminal organisations like the mafia, totalitarian governments and the Catholic Church have found that menace serves them very well in achieving their aim of suppressing opposition. Being threatened with eternal torment unless I submit is certainly going to make me think twice. But the more I think about it, the more I think I'd be likely to refuse. This God of yours sounds despicable. If I submit now and spend eternity with it in its heaven, then to me that sounds like eternal torture. At least in hell, I'd have the comfort of knowing that I stood up for what was right. Let me ask you a question in return. If Satan came to you and told you that you weren't going to heaven because you threw a Bible in this video and that blasphemy is the one sin that cannot be forgiven, but then he offered you eternal comfort in return for selling your soul and condemning the rest of humanity to eternal suffering, would you take that offer? Would that be the right thing to do? It's ironic that you say this is all about pride, because your hubris is on full display here. You're going to heaven, so you must be better than us. You have the right answer, so you must be better than us. You used to be one of us, but now you've moved onwards, and more importantly, upwards, so you can look down on us poor atheists. Pride's certainly playing a central role here, but whose pride? Almost as ironic is the conclusion of your video with the word peace, when at 6:24 you display obvious relish at the prospect of non-believers being ripped limb from limb by demons in hell. It's peace indeed. Your God's followers have founded a religion on violence and threats of violence, and you wouldn't know peace if it jumped up and bit you on the windpipe before tearing it out in gouts of blood and flesh, and then eviscerating your still twitching but not quite dead corpse with one of its talons. Or maybe you would, because that sounds like just the sort of thing your peace would do.